Good morning, dear students. Today, first of all, I will discuss maximum and minimum value of a function in an interval. Suppose this is the graph of a function y equal to fx in the closed interval ab from x equal to a to x equal to b. This is the graph of a function. Clearly, the function has a local maxima at x equal to c and local minima at x equal to d. Now, if we consider the graph of the function from x equal to a to x equal to b, the maximum value of the function in this interval is at x equal to c, and the minimum value of the function, you can see this is the lowest point, the minimum value of the function is at x equal to d. And now this is another graph of the function y equal to fx in the closed interval ab from x equal to a to x equal to b. Here the function has a local minima at the point x equal to c and local maxima at x equal to d. Now if we consider the whole graph from x equal to a to x equal to b, what we can see, the maximum value of the function is at x equal to a. At x equal to a, the function has a maxima, and at x equal to b, the function has minima. So what we have observed, a function can have maximum value in an interval, a function can have maximum or minimum value in between x equal to a and x equal to b, where the function has local maxima or local minima, or at the end points the function may have, this function has local maxima at x equal to d, but this is not the maximum value of the function in this interval. The function has local maxima, the maximum value of the function is attained at x equal to a and the minimum value is attained at x equal to b. So in an interval, maximum minimum value of a function can attain its maximum or minimum value at the end points of the interval or between x equal to a and x equal to b. So in between the points x equal to and a and x equal to b also, the function can attain its greatest and least value. So in an interval, maximum value means we have to find the absolute maximum value, minimum value means we have to find the absolute minimum value. So now I will write how to find the maximum or minimum value of a function in an interval. Now I will write the working rule to find the maximum or minimum value of a function in an interval. Working rule means how to proceed to find maximum or minimum value of a function in an interval. Let fx be continuous in the closed interval ab and differentiable in ab. Suppose fx is any given function which is continuous in an closed interval ab and differentiable in the open interval ab. Step 1, to find f dash x. Step 2, to solve f dash x equal to 0 and let x equal to c1, c2, c3, cn be the solutions. Now step 3, to find the values of the given function fx at c1, c2, c3, cn and also at the end points a and b. The function is defined in the interval ab. In between a and b, suppose at this point c1, c2, c3, cn f dash x equal to 0, to find the values of f of a, that is value of the function at the end point f of a. Next f of c1, f of c2, etc., f of cn and f of b. Now conclusion. The maximum of all these FA, FC1, FC2, Fcn, Fb will give us the maximum value of the function, is maximum value of fx in the closed interval ab, and the minimum of fa, fc1, fc2 up to fcn and fb will give us the minimum value of fx, will give us the minimum value of fx in the closed interval ab. So this is our procedure. Suppose fx is any given function which is continuous in this interval and differentiable in between a and b. Our first step will be to find f dash x. Next step, to solve f dash x equal to 0 and find all the solutions. And then we have to find the values of fx at all of these points and also at the end points a and b. Okay, fa, fc1, fc2, fb, and the maximum of all of these values is the greatest value of the function. Minimum of all of this is the least value of the function in the given interval ab. And what you have to remember, in an interval, maximum value means the absolute maximum value and minimum value means the least value, absolute minimum value. Now we will solve one question from NCERT book. This question is given in NCERT book. Find the maximum and minimum values of fx equal to this in the interval 1 and 3. So you have to find maximum value or minimum value of this function in a given interval. Whenever you have to find maximum value or minimum value in a given interval, we have to find the absolute maximum value and absolute minimum value. So what are the steps? Our first step is to find f dash x. It will be 6x square minus 24. Now our next step is to solve f dash x equal to 0, implies 6 into x square minus 4 equal to 0, x square minus 4 equal to 0, x equal to plus minus 2 and minus 2. Now you can see you have to find maximum minimum value in the interval 1 to 3. Here x equal to minus 2 does not lie in this interval, so we have to reject this value, as x equal to minus 2 does not belong to 1 to 3, x must be equal to 2. Now we have to find the value of fx at this point. Now you can see in between 1 and 3 we have only one point, x equal to 2, where f dash x is equal to 0. The given interval is 1 to 3 and between 1 and 3 we have only one point, x equal to 2, where the f dash x is equal to 0. Now we will find the values of fx at all these 3 points. Now f of 1 is equal to, f of 1 will be 2 plus 107, 109 minus 24. That is 85. F of 1 equal to 85. Next, f of 2 equal to 2 into 2 cube minus 24 into 2 plus 107, which is equal to 75. Next, we have to find the value of fx at x equal to 3, and f of 3 equal to, if we put x equal to 3 here, f of 3 will be 89. Now you can see f1, f2, f3, the values of the function at these 3 points. The greatest value you can see is 89. Therefore, maximum value of fx in the interval, the given interval you can see 1, 3. In 1, 3 is equal to 89. Minimum value of fx in the interval 1 and 3. If you consider f1, f2, f3, the minimum value is 75. So this is the maximum and minimum value of the given function in the interval 1 and 3. Our next question is from NCERT book. Find the maximum and minimum values of fx equal to x plus sine 2x in the interval 0 to 2 pi. So First of all, we have to find f dash x. So f dash x is equal to 1 plus 2 cos 2x. Our next step is to solve f dash x equal to 0. Now f dash x equal to 0 gives you 1 plus 2 cos 2x equal to 0, and from this we get cos 2x equal to minus of half, cos 2x equal to minus of cos of pi by 3. Now cos theta is negative. You can see we are finding the value of 2x. Cos 2x equal to, cos is negative in second and third quadrant, so this equal to, we can write cos 2x equal to, we can write cos of second quadrant, we have to write in this way, pi minus theta. We know how to find the solution. In second quadrant, pi minus theta. In third quadrant, it's pi plus theta. In fourth quadrant, it will be 2 pi minus theta, and first quadrant will be theta. So using this, in second quadrant, pi cos pi minus theta. In third quadrant, cos theta is negative, is third quadrant, so we'll write pi plus theta. Next, you can see we are finding the value of 2x, and therefore we can write in this way also, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi minus something. We will write this, cos of 3 pi minus pi by 3, and cos of 3 pi plus pi by 3. Okay, so 2x equal to 2 pi by 3, 4 pi by 3, 8 pi by 3, and 10 pi by 3. So if we find, because we have to find the stationary points in between 0 and 2 pi, this is the given interval. So x equal to pi by 3, 60 degree, which lies between 0 and 2 pi, 0 and 360. 2 pi by 3 is 120 degree, which also lies between 0 and 2 pi. 4 pi by 3, this is 2x equal to, so x equal to, have to divide all this by 2, 4 pi by 3 and 5 pi by 3. So these are the stationary points in between 0 and 2 pi. Now our next will be to find the values of fx at these points. So one by one I will find the values at these points. Now you can see between 0 and 2 pi, this is the given interval, 0 and 2 pi, between 0 and 2 pi, these are the stationary points. So you will find the values of fx at all of these points starting from 0 to 2 pi. So f of 0 equal to, here I have calculated one by one all the values of fx at these points. Now you can further calculate, you can put pi equal to 22 by 7, and you can simplify. What we can see here, the maximum value of the function is this, 2 into pi. 2 into pi means 22 by 7, 44 by 7, so 44 by 7 means 6 point something. So this is the maximum value. You can put pi equal to 22 by 7, and you can simplify. In each case, you will get the maximum value of fx in the interval 0 to 2 pi is 2 pi, and the minimum value of fx in 0 to 2 pi is 0. You can check by putting pi equal to 22 by 7 and calculating the values. Okay. Now I have taken one more questions from NCERT book. Prove that the following functions do not have maxima or minima. What you have to prove, this function do not have maxima or minima. Number 1, fx equal to e to the power x. Now we will proceed as we have proceeded in the earlier questions. Our first step will be to find f dash x. F dash x is e to the power x. Now we will solve f dash x equal to 0, means e to the power x equal to 0. Now e to the power x equal to 0 is a positive number. Approximate value e is 2.71. and a positive number to the power anything can never be 0, which has no solution. E to the power x is never equal to 0, so which has no solution. It means this function has no stationary point, no point where f dash x equal to 0. We know that at a point where a function is maxima or minima, derivative must be 0, but there is no point where e to the power x is 0, where derivative is equal to 0. Therefore, fx equal to e to the power x has no maximum and minimum value. E to the power fx equal to e to the power x has no maximum and minimum value. Actually, it has no stationary point. If we draw its graph, it will be like this. It will be like this. So there is no point because this is extended up to infinity. Here also this is extended up to infinity. It will meet this line at infinity. So it has neither point of maxima nor point of minimum. Our next function is fx equal to log x. Now you can see f dash x equal to 1 by x. Here f dash x equal to 0 means 1 by x equal to 0, and 1 by x equal to 0, you can see there is no value of x for which 1 by x equal to 0. There is no finite value of x for which x equal to 0. 1 by x equal to 0 means x is undefined, which has no solution. That means this function also has no stationary point. And this is the graph of fx equal to log x when base of the logarithm is more than 1. So you can see this function has neither point, which is extended up to infinity upwards and extended up to infinity downward also. So there is no point of maxima, no point of minimum. Okay. The third function is fx equal to x cube plus x square plus x plus 1. You have to show that this function has neither maxima nor minima. So first step to find f dash x. Next step to solve f dash x equal to 0. So 3x square plus 2x plus 1 equal to 0. If we solve for x will be minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a. So it will be minus 2 plus minus 4 minus 12 is root over minus 8 by 6. You can further simplify. This will be minus 1 plus minus root 2i by 3. Now you can see here x is not real. This equation has no real solution. That means there is no real point at which f dash x equal to 0. So this function has no real stationary point. There is no real point where f dash x is equal to 0. Therefore, the given function has neither maxima nor minima. Next, find the maximum and minimum values if any find the maximum and minimum values if any of the following functions. If they have maximum or minimum values, then we have to find. These are 1 mark simple questions given in NCERT book. First, number 1, fx equal to modulus of x plus 2 minus 1. Now, we know modulus function is always greater than and equal to 0. Value of modulus of x plus 2, the minimum value is 0. This function has no upper bound. Maximum value does not exist. Maximum value can be anything. There is no finite maximum value. Now, next step, we'll add minus 1 to both the sides. X plus 2 minus 1 is greater than 0 plus minus 1. We have added minus 1 to both the sides. Now this is our fx. Fx is greater than equal to minus 1. Okay. So the minimum value of fx is minus 1 and the maximum, it has no upper bound. Therefore, minimum value of fx is minus 1 and the function has and maximum value does not exist because it has no finite maximum value. Next, question number 2, sine 2x plus 5. First of all, we will write the value of sine 2x. Sine 2x, so you know sine function lies between -1 and +1. So this is our range of sine 2x, minimum value, maximum value. Now we will add 5 to all the sides. Sine 2x plus 5 lies between 6 and 4. Now sine 2x plus 5 is our given function. So fx lies between 6 and 4. The maximum value of fx is 6. Minimum value of fx is equal to 4. Our third question is modulus of sine 4x plus 3. We have to find its maximum or minimum value if exists. First of all, we will write sine 4x. Its maximum value is +1, minimum value is -1. Next step, if we take modulus of sine 4x, modulus of sine 4x will be less than 1 because modulus of 1 is 1. But as modulus cannot be negative, its minimum value will be 0. Modulus of sine 4x lies between 0 and 1. Now adding 3 to all the sides, 0 plus 3 is 3, sine 4x plus 3 less than equal to 4. So fx lies between 3 and 4. So maximum value of fx is 4. And the minimum value of fx is 3. Here I have taken a simple word problem from NCERT book. Find two numbers whose sum is 24 and whose product is as large as possible, means whose product is maximum. We have to find two numbers whose sum is 24. So let us first assume that let the numbers be, let the first number be x, the other number will be 24 minus x. So let the numbers be x and 24 minus x. We have to find two numbers whose sum is 24. So we have considered the number as this and this. What we have to find? We have to find x so that product of these two is maximum. Let p be the product of the numbers. P equal to x into 24 minus x. So again I am explaining, we have to find two numbers whose sum is 24. We have assumed these two are the numbers. If we add, sum will be 24. And we have to find sum 24 and the product of the numbers is maximum. We have to find two numbers whose sum is 24 and the product is maximum. So what we have assumed, suppose p is the product of two numbers and we have to find the maximum value of p. We have to find when p will be maximum, when the product of the numbers will be maximum. That means we have to find maximum value of p. So p equal to 24x minus x square implies dp dx equal to, it will be 24 minus 2x. Now dp dx equal to 0 gives 24 minus 2x equal to 0 and x equal to 12. Next, this is our stationary point. We have to find d2p dx square. As we have to find the maximum value of p, d2p dx square will be minus of 2. So d2p dx square at x equal to 12, this is stationary point, at x equal to 12 is equal to minus 2, which is less than 0. Double derivative negative means p is maximum, that is product is maximum when x equal to 12. And when x equal to 12, you can see when x equal to 12, the numbers will be 12 and 24 minus 12 is 12. The required numbers are x, that is 12, and 12 minus x, sorry, not 12 minus x, 24 minus x, x and 24 minus x. So x is 12 and 24 minus x is also 12. So these are the two numbers whose sum is 24 and whose product is maximum. You can check sum 24, 1 and 23, sum 24, their product is 23. 2 and 22, sum 24, product is 44. 3 and 21, sum 24, product is 63, so on. If you check in this way, you will see 12 are the two numbers whose sum is 24 and the product is the largest, 144. Okay, so this is the answer, 12 and 12. Our next question is another simple question from NCERT book. Find two positive numbers whose sum is 16 and the sum of whose cube is minimum. We have to find two numbers whose sum is 16. So first of all, let us assume that let the numbers be x, 16 minus x. In that case, sum will be 16. What you have to find? The minimum value, sum of whose cubes is minimum. Let p equal to sum of cubes of the numbers. Therefore, p equal to x cube 16 minus x whole cube. Sum of cube of these two numbers. Sum of these two numbers is 16 and this is sum of the cubes of these two numbers, and we have to find when this will be minimum. That is, we have to find the minimum value of p, and also we have to find at what value of x p will be minimum. So proceeding as usual, first step we have to find minimum value of p. For that we have to find dp dx, which is 3x square plus 3 into 16 minus x whole square into minus of 1. So it will be 3x square minus 3 into 16 minus x whole square. Our next step is to find stationary point. For that we have to solve dp dx equal to 0. First step we have to divide all the sides by 3. We will get x square minus 256 plus x square minus 32x equal to 0. This will be 32x minus 256 equal to 0. So x equal to 8. Next step we have to find d2p dx square. Now d2p dx square is equal to, it will be 6x minus 6 into 16 minus x into derivative of x is minus 1. So this will be this 6x plus 6 into 16 minus x d2p dx square. We have to find d2p dx square at x equal to 8 because this is our stationary point. So d2p dx square at x equal to 8 will be, we have to put x equal to 8, it will be 6 into 8 plus 6 into 16 minus 8. You can see 48 plus 48 is 96, which is greater than 0. So p is minimum, that is sum of the cube is minimum when x equal to 8. The sum of the cubes of the numbers is minimum when x equal to 8, and when x equal to 8 the numbers will be 8 and 16 minus 8, that is 8. Therefore the required numbers are 8, 8. Our next question is, show that of all the rectangles with given perimeter, the square has the largest area. Suppose perimeter of a rectangle is say 10. Suppose perimeter of a rectangle is 10. Now if we draw rectangles of different shapes whose perimeter is 10, if we draw rectangles So these are all rectangles. Suppose these are all rectangles with perimeter 10. If we draw different rectangles of perimeter 10, we will see that the rectangle whose area is largest is a square. That is, suppose its perimeter is 10, its perimeter is 10, its perimeter is 10, its perimeter is 10. Then we will see the rectangle whose area is the largest will be a square. That is, its length and breadth will be equal. Then the rectangle whose area will be largest will be a square. That is, the rectangle whose area is largest, its length and breadth will be equal. So this is what we have to prove. This is a very important question. This is from CBSE book as well as from CBSE board exam paper. So show that of all rectangles. First let us consider this any given parameter. Suppose P be given parameter of the rectangle. Parameter of a rectangle is given. So we have assumed that let P be the parameter. Say 10, say 50, say 100. Fixed. Parameter is fixed. Let P be the given parameter. If we draw different rectangles with parameter P, then we will see the parameter whose area is greatest is a square. Means its length and breadth will be same. Let P be the given parameter of a rectangle. Given parameter, better let me write given parameter. Let P be the given parameter. Let x equal to length of the rectangle. Y equal to breadth of the rectangle. Then parameter will be P equal to 2 into x plus y. P is given, P is fixed, P is constant, P equal to 2 into x plus y. Okay, so P is the given parameter and we have taken different rectangles with parameter P. Suppose x is length of such rectangle, one such rectangle, y is the breadth, then area will, the parameter equal to P 2 into length plus breadth. Now if x is the length of rectangle and y is the breadth of the rectangle, what will be the area? We have to show that the area will be maximum when it is a square, when x equal to y. So what is the area? We'll take, let A be the area of the rectangle, area of the rectangle, and A equal to x into y. And we have to find when A is maximum, for what values of x and y A is maximum. That means to find a maximum value of A. But before finding the maximum value of A, we have to express A in terms of one variable, either in terms of x or in terms of y, by using this result, because P is the given parameter, P is constant. So using this result, we have to express A in either in terms of x or in terms of y. Now replacing x, we will get y equal to P by 2 minus x, because we have this relation P equal to 2 into x plus y, and from this relation you can see P by 2 minus x equal to y. So px by 2 minus x square. Now you can see A is in terms of one variable x. We have to find the maximum value of A. When A is maximum, for what value or values of x A is maximum? For that we have to find dA dx. It will be P by 2 minus 2x. Now dA dx equal to 0 implies P by 2 minus 2x equal to 0. So x equal to P by 4. This is the stationary point. Now d2a dx square is equal to, you can see it's minus of 2, and d2a dx square is a constant at x equal to P by 4 will be minus of 2, which is less than 0. Therefore Therefore A is maximum. The area of the rectangle is maximum when x equal to p by 4. And again from this relation you can see p equal to 2 into x plus y. If we put x equal to p by 4, again p equal to 2 into x plus y gives, when x equal to p by 4, p 2 into p by 4 plus y. So y will be equal to So these were some simple word problems. In the next class I will solve some more word problems. That's all for today. Thank you.